Musintegraction is a Key Action 2 project co-funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. There are 4 participant countries: Spain, Germany, Italy, and Portugal. The complete title of the project is Transforming Music Education Institutions to Ensure Their Role as Transmitters of European Cultural Heritage. It is a call to action for the integration of music and secondary education, combining to give us the title of Musintegraction. The project originated in Spain at the Music Conservatorio in Murcia. Very similar to our situation in Trento, the Murcia Conservatory works closely with the nearby El Carmen Secondary School. The conservatory is responsible for the students' musical training, while the secondary school provides a classical high school education. Other institutions with similar situations were identified in Italy, Germany, and Portugal, and they include the Bonporti Music High School and the Bonporti Conservatory here in Trento, the Musikgymnasium Schloss Belvedere and the Franz Liszt Hochschule für Musik in Weimar, and the combined National Conservatory and Music High School in Lisbon. There are 2 branches of the project, one for the students of these institutions and one for the teachers. The key objective of both is to better understand how the conservatories and secondary schools can be improved and how they can work better together. Recognizing the vibrant historical, cultural, and musical heritage of the participating countries, regions, and cities of the institutions is also a focus of the project. With this in mind, a significant part of the program involves travel and exchanges within the 4 countries. One of the main objectives of Musintegraction is to expand the horizons of our students, fostering intellectual and professional music growth on the international stage of the European community. Student participants were selected on the basis of their musical and academic abilities and potential, and international curiosity. Linguistic and communicative capacity was also a criteria, as all activities and presentations are necessarily done in English. The first student event was hosted in Trento in February 2019, where each of the other 3 countries sent 6 students and 2 teachers each for 5 days of activities. The students were hosted by the families of Bonporti students for a true immersion into Trentino life and culture. The theme of the first student meeting was to emphasize the cultural heritage of the participating regions. Student groups were responsible for creating and presenting an informative PowerPoint and a 4-minute video in the thematic area, all in English, with guided follow-up discussions. Activities also included a trip to Venice, a guided tour of the Buon Consiglio Castle, and a visit to the Museum. We went to a concert of the Bolzano Trento Haydn Orchestra and took a tour of the historic city center of Trento led by Bonporti students, including the Trento Cathedral and SAS, the underground archaeological museum detailing the ancient Roman city of Tridentium. All students took part in instrumental and choir lessons in the conservatory and a combined concert where they performed both individually and in ensembles. And finally, there was a jam session hosted by the Liceo ensemble, Jazz Factor. Subsequent student meetings have seen a crescendo of enthusiasm and the creation of lasting bonds between students and faculty members alike. Our students traveled to Murcia in May of 2019 and then to Lisbon in February 2020. These meetings saw the students involved in a whirlwind of musical and cultural activities planned by the hosting institutions, as well as intense group work on the various themes of each meeting. In Murcia, we discussed characteristics of the various high schools and conservatories, focusing on the history of the institution, important former students, and regional or local instrument inclusion. In Lisbon, the theme was transforming the environment through the various educational institutions, cultural events, concerts, training seminars, and social initiatives, and the institution as a vehicle for social change. Similar to the student meetings, teachers from the various institutions have had the opportunity to travel to the 4 countries for joint staff meetings. There, teachers have been immersed in thematic discussions and presentations on various research topics. They have exchanged ideas, learned from colleagues, been involved in job shadowing, lectures, work groups, and lively discussions while learning more about the local culture proudly put on display by the hosting institution. The first joint staff meeting was in Weimar in January 2019, where the theme was Sharing One Need, Finding Different Solutions, Examples of Music Integrated Curriculum in Secondary Education. This was followed by the joint staff meeting in Lisbon in March 2019, with the research and discussion theme of career pathways, training of both professional and amateur musicians in music-integrated curriculum programs. November 2019 saw Trento again in the role of host city, and we welcomed our colleagues from Murcia, Weimar, and Lisbon for 5 days of music, research presentation, and roundtable discussion. This time, the thematic area involved urgent needs at the various institutions and addressing learning opportunities not only for students, but for teachers, student families, and the local community, human and material resources within the various institutions, and the performance of the direction board of each institution. Certainly, the lecture hall is a wonderful place of learning and exchange of ideas. But we all learn and grow so much in moments of convivial warmth between our meetings and presentations, perhaps while sampling the local cuisine, sharing musical experiences, and forging new friendships and professional relationships that have all gone far above and beyond the initial objectives of Musintegration. Unfortunately, these moments of conviviality ground to a halt with the advent of COVID-19. The outbreak in Wuhan, China spread to Europe, showing up first in northern Italy on its way to wreaking havoc throughout the world and becoming a tragic pandemic. The coronavirus outbreak touched for first the delegation of the Trento Liceo, who had to cancel their participation in the final joint staff meeting in Murcia in March 2020, as Italy was starting to enter into lockdown. This marked the beginning of what has now become so familiar to us all, teaching and collaborating with virtual connections, seeing our friends and colleagues at a distance, learning new technologies, and battling Zoom fatigue. The Murcia meeting went ahead with a very successful conference with Weimar and Lisbon present, as well as a delegation from the Bonporti Conservatorio, while the Bonporti Music Liceo participated virtually. Perhaps aptly for a conference held partially on Zoom, the theme at that meeting dealt with the modernization of innovative methodological and didactic approaches in musical institutions and secondary education classrooms. The final student meeting, originally planned for May 2020 in Weimar, was postponed several times. It finally took place virtually May 17 through 19, 2021. This was the first completely online exchange, and the host city of Weimar did a remarkable job of creating an interesting and varied program, which featured online, live, and asynchronous activities. The concluding exchange theme dealt with how students feel their needs are being met, and how they, the students, can change their various institutions from within. The conclusion of the project was to have been a simultaneous gala concert, intended as a fundraising event for a charity chosen by the students of the participating institutions. There was also to have been a permanent exhibit, a testimony to the many lasting impressions of students and staff over the 2 years of the project. Unfortunately, due to coronavirus restrictions, this final phase of the project was also altered, and saw online streaming concerts, as well as the curation of a permanent online archive of project materials at the Musintegraction website. The concert for Trento took place on the 17th of June, 2021, with a live streaming broadcast. Links to all of the concerts and exhibit materials can be found on the official website www.musintegraction.com. It has been a remarkable 2 years, make that 3, for teachers and students alike. We have shared, we have learned, we've laughed, we have grown, and we have made music together. Arrivederci, adios, auf Wiedersehen, adeus.